Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you today about something that has held too many women back for far too long. Society has taught you that being nice is the key to success. That if you just smile, agree, and make everyone happy, life will reward you. But let me tell you today, there is a difference between being kind and being weak. There is a difference between having a good heart and being a doormat. Some of you have spent your entire lives making yourself small so that others can feel big. You've sacrificed your dreams, your voice, and your worth, all because you were told that a nice girl doesn't disrupt the status quo. But hear me today. You were not created to live at the mercy of other people's opinions. Many people misunderstand kindness, assuming that being kind means being weak, passive, or easily manipulated. But the truth is, kindness is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. It takes courage to be kind in a world that often rewards selfishness, competition, and aggression. Kindness is not about allowing others to walk over you. It is about having the strength to stand firm in your values while treating others with respect and dignity. A kind person is not someone who avoids conflict at all costs. Instead, they approach situations with wisdom and grace. They do not retaliate with anger or cruelty, but they also do not allow themselves to be mistreated. True kindness requires self-respect. It means recognizing your worth and not tolerating behaviors that diminish it. Too often, people who are naturally compassionate and giving feel guilty for setting boundaries, as if refusing to be taken advantage of makes them unkind. In reality, protecting yourself from harmful situations is an act of self-love, and when you love yourself, you can give to others from a place of abundance rather than exhaustion. Strength in kindness is demonstrated in the ability to choose your response rather than react impulsively. Weakness is being controlled by emotions, lashing out in anger, or allowing fear to dictate actions. A strong person remains composed under pressure, speaks truthfully yet respectfully, and does not compromise their principles to please others. It is easy to be harsh, to dominate conversations, or to force your way to the top. But real strength is shown when you remain kind, even when others are unkind to you. It requires a high level of self-discipline and emotional intelligence to treat people well, regardless of how they treat you. There is a misconception that in order to be respected, one must be harsh, aggressive, or unyielding. However, some of the most respected leaders in history were those who led with kindness and humility. They understood that true influence is not about fear or intimidation, but about inspiring others through integrity and character. A kind person commands more genuine respect than someone who rules with an iron fist. When people know that your kindness comes with strength, they recognize that they cannot manipulate or control you. Many women in particular have been conditioned to believe that they must always be agreeable, always say yes, and always prioritize the needs of others above their own. But kindness does not mean self-sacrifice to the point of exhaustion. You can be kind and still say no. You can be kind and still demand respect. You can be kind and still stand up for what is right. People often take advantage of those who are afraid to assert themselves, assuming that kindness means silence. But a truly kind person knows when to speak up, when to walk away, and when to stand their ground. The strength of kindness is also evident in how it impacts others. A person who operates with kindness has the ability to diffuse tension, build bridges, and create environments where people feel valued and understood. It is not about seeking approval, but about living in alignment with principles that promote harmony and mutual respect. A weak person follows the crowd, adjusting their behavior based on what is popular or convenient. A strong person remains kind even when it is not easy, even when it is not reciprocated. Kindness is not passive, it is powerful. It is a choice to approach life with love rather than fear, to uplift rather than tear down, and to lead with wisdom rather than force. It requires confidence, patience, and resilience. Those who mistake kindness for weakness fail to understand the depth of its power. Kindness is not about being soft. It is about being unshakable in character. Every person walking this earth was born with a specific purpose, a divine reason for existing. No one is here by accident. No life is meaningless. And no journey is without significance. From the moment of conception, there was a plan set in motion for your life, a destiny that is uniquely yours. Too often, people go through life feeling lost, uncertain, or unworthy of greatness simply because they have not yet discovered the depth of the purpose that was placed inside them. But purpose is not something you create. It is something you uncover. It was already designed before you took your first breath. The fact that you exist means you are needed. If you were not needed, you would not have been born. The world has a problem that only you can solve, a gap that only you can fill, and a space that is reserved specifically for you. No one else has your exact combination of gifts, personality, experiences, and perspective. That is why comparing yourself to others is a waste of time. No two people were created for the same path, and trying to fit into someone else's journey will only leave you feeling empty. The key is to embrace who you are, to recognize the gifts you have been given, and to use them in the way they were meant to be used. Too many people live their lives waiting for permission to be great. They look for validation from others before stepping into what they were meant to do. They allow fear, doubt, and insecurity to keep them stagnant, believing the lie that they are not good enough, not talented enough, or not worthy of success. But purpose is not about qualifications. It is about calling. When you are called to something, no one can disqualify you. The only person who can stop you from fulfilling your purpose is you. Purpose is not just about personal success. It is about impact. It is about how your existence contributes to the greater good. The fulfillment of your purpose is not just for you, it is for others. Every great leader, inventor, artist, teacher, or visionary did not just live for themselves. They tapped into the reason they were created, and through their purpose, they changed the world around them. When you walk in your purpose, you become a solution to someone else's problem. You bring light where there is darkness, healing where there is pain, and clarity where there is confusion. Discovering purpose requires intention. It does not come from simply existing, going through the motions, and waiting for something to happen. It comes from seeking, growing, and stepping out in faith. Sometimes purpose is revealed through challenges, through struggles that refine and shape you into the person you are meant to be. The trials you have faced were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to prepare you. Every hardship, every failure, every lesson was part of the process of molding you for the work you were created to do. Living in purpose requires courage. It means taking risks, stepping out of comfort zones, and refusing to settle for less than what you were designed for. It means rejecting the opinions of those who do not understand your vision and embracing the journey, even when it is unclear. Purpose is bigger than fear, bigger than excuses, and bigger than temporary setbacks. It is the reason you are here, the force that should drive you every day, and the legacy you will leave behind. You were not created to merely exist, to survive, or to blend into the background. You were created to thrive, to stand out, and to fulfill a mission that only you can accomplish. No matter where you are right now, no matter what mistakes you have made, your purpose remains. It is waiting for you to rise up, to recognize your value, and to walk boldly in the calling that was placed inside of you from the very beginning. Too many people go through life making themselves smaller, dimming their light, and holding back their true potential. They silence their voices in meetings, lower their expectations in relationships, and settle for less than they deserve, all because they fear being seen as too much. They worry about taking up too much space, being too bold, too confident, or too ambitious. But the truth is, shrinking yourself does not serve anyone. Playing small does not make the world better, and it certainly does not honor the potential that was placed inside of you. Every person was created with gifts, talents, and a unique calling, but many allow fear to keep them from fully embracing who they are. They have been conditioned to believe that standing out is dangerous, that success will make others uncomfortable, or that confidence is arrogance. They have internalized messages from society, family, or past experiences that told them to stay quiet, to blend in, to avoid making waves. But the world does not need more people who are afraid to be themselves. The world needs people who are willing to step into their greatness, unapologetically and without hesitation. Shrinking yourself often comes from the fear of rejection. People fear being judged, criticized, or abandoned if they fully express who they are. They think that if they are too opinionated, too successful, or too vocal, they will lose relationships or opportunities. But the reality is, anyone who cannot handle your full potential was never meant to be part of your journey. True connections, whether personal or professional, are built with those who respect and celebrate you, not those who need you to be less so they can feel more. Another reason people shrink themselves is because they have been taught that humility means making themselves small. But humility is not about denying your greatness. It is about recognizing that your gifts were given to you for a purpose. True humility is using those gifts to make an impact, to help others, and to fulfill your mission. There is nothing humble about pretending you are less than you are. There is nothing virtuous about hiding your talents just to make others comfortable. Every time you hold back, you rob the world of what you have to offer. There is someone who needs your voice, someone who needs your leadership, someone who needs your vision. Playing small does not just affect you, it affects everyone around you. It affects the people who could have been inspired by you, the lives you could have changed, and the opportunities you could have created. When you choose to shrink yourself, you are denying the world something only you can give. Confidence is not arrogance, and standing tall is not pride. There is power in fully embracing who you are, in owning your strengths, and in allowing yourself to shine. Growth requires expansion, and expansion means stepping into spaces that might feel unfamiliar, uncomfortable, or even intimidating. It means allowing yourself to be seen, to be heard, and to take up space without apology. Breaking the habit of shrinking yourself requires a mindset shift. It means no longer seeking validation from those who prefer you to be small. It means choosing courage over comfort and refusing to apologize for your ambitions, your voice, and your presence. It means recognizing that your worth is not determined by how well you fit into someone else's expectations. You were never meant to live in the shadows. You were not created to be invisible. There is something inside of you that is meant to be seen, meant to be heard, meant to be expressed. The time for hiding is over. The time for shrinking is done. It is time to rise, to take up space, and to walk boldly in the fullness of who you were created to be. Many people struggle with setting boundaries and saying no. Not because they lack the ability, but because they fear the consequences. They worry about disappointing others, losing relationships, or being seen as selfish. From a young age, many are taught that saying yes is a sign of kindness, that being available to everyone at all times makes them good and valuable. But the truth is, constantly saying yes when you should say no does not make you kind. It makes you exhausted. It drains your energy, weakens your confidence, and leaves you feeling resentful. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting your peace, your time, and your well-being. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your needs, desires, and limits matter just as much as anyone else's. Too often, people believe that loving others means sacrificing themselves. But love is not about self-neglect. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you constantly give without limits, you will eventually feel depleted. And when that happens, you will have nothing left to offer, not to yourself, not to your dreams, and not to the people you care about. Real love, whether in friendships, family, or work relationships, includes respect for each other's boundaries. Anyone who truly values you will respect the limits you set. One of the biggest reasons people avoid setting boundaries is guilt. They feel that saying no means they are letting someone down. They believe they have a duty to always be available, always be agreeable, always be accommodating. But guilt is not a reason to keep saying yes. Just because someone asks for your time, energy, or resources does not mean you are obligated to give it. Your time is valuable, your energy is valuable, and you have the right to decide how, where, and with whom you invest them. Another common reason people fail to set boundaries is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being seen as difficult. But the reality is, when you do not set boundaries, you teach people that they can treat you however they want. You show them that your time is not important, that your needs do not matter, that they can cross lines without consequence. People will take as much as you allow them to take. That is why it is up to you to establish limits, to decide what is acceptable and what is not. Saying no does not mean you do not care. It does not mean you are rude or selfish. It means you understand your priorities. Every time you say yes to something that does not align with your goals or values, you are saying no to something that does. Every unnecessary commitment, every obligation that drains you, every situation where you feel pressure to comply is taking away from what truly matters in your life. You cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot please everyone, and you should not have to. There is strength in saying no. It is a skill that requires practice, but the more you use it, the easier it becomes. Saying no is not just about rejecting requests. It is about standing firm in who you are. It is about making choices that honor your time, energy, and mental well-being. Some people may not like it when you start setting boundaries, but the right people will respect you more for it. Choosing yourself does not mean neglecting others. It means recognizing that you too are worthy of care and respect. It means knowing that your voice matters, that your limits are valid, and that your well-being is just as important as anyone else's. The moment you start setting boundaries and saying no without guilt, you begin to reclaim control over your life. You begin to live with intention, with confidence, and with the freedom to focus on what truly aligns with your purpose. One of the hardest lessons in life is accepting that not everyone will like you. No matter how kind, generous, or understanding you are, there will always be people who disapprove, misunderstand, or even dislike you for reasons beyond your control. Many people spend years trying to gain approval, bending over backward to be accepted and altering themselves to fit into the expectations of others. But the truth is, seeking universal approval is a losing battle. The more you try to please everyone, the more you lose yourself, and in the end, you still cannot control how people feel about you. However, while not everyone will like you, they can still respect you. Respect is not built on making people happy or gaining their approval. It is built on consistency, integrity, and confidence. People may not agree with you, they may not share your beliefs, and they may not even enjoy being around you. But if you stand firm in who you are, they will respect your strength. Respect is earned when you refuse to compromise your values for acceptance, when you hold yourself to a standard, and when you establish clear boundaries in your life. Trying to be liked often leads to compromise. It causes people to say yes when they mean no, to stay silent when they should speak up, and to tolerate things that go against their values. They fear that if they assert themselves, they will lose relationships or face rejection. But in reality, true relationships are not built on constant agreement or sacrifice. They are built on mutual respect. People respect those who know what they stand for, who are not easily swayed, and who do not allow themselves to be manipulated. Some of the most influential people in history were not liked by everyone. Leaders, visionaries, and changemakers often faced criticism, opposition, and even hatred. But they were respected because they had the courage to stand for something. They did not let the fear of disapproval stop them from pursuing their purpose. Their respect came from their consistency, their unwillingness to conform to what was easy, and their commitment to their values. The same principle applies in everyday life. Whether in business, relationships, or personal growth, those who stand firm will always earn more respect than those who constantly seek approval. There will always be people who misunderstand your intentions, who dislike you out of jealousy, or who simply do not align with who you are. That is not your burden to carry. It is not your job to convince everyone of your worth. The only thing you can control is how you present yourself, how you live your truth, and how you maintain your integrity. Those who cannot accept that were never meant to walk with you. Respect does not require agreement. It is possible for people to disagree with you and still recognize your strength. It is possible for them to have different values and still admire your conviction. The key is to remain true to yourself despite external opinions. When you show confidence in who you are, others take notice. They see that you are not easily shaken, that you do not need external validation to feel worthy, and that you are secure in your purpose. In the end, being liked is temporary and conditional. People's opinions change, their preferences shift, and their approval is often based on circumstances. But respect is long-lasting. It is something that endures beyond trends, beyond personal biases, and beyond fleeting emotions. When you live with authenticity, when you stand firm in your beliefs, and when you refuse to shrink yourself for acceptance, you build a foundation that commands respect. Not everyone will like you, but if you remain true to yourself, they will respect you. Confidence is one of the most powerful qualities a person can possess. It shapes the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with others, and the way you approach challenges in life. Confidence is not about arrogance or thinking you are better than others. It is about believing in yourself, in your abilities, and in your worth. It is the foundation that allows you to take risks, speak up, and pursue your goals without fear of failure or rejection. Without confidence, even the most talented individuals will struggle to reach their full potential because doubt will always hold them back. Confidence starts with self-awareness. It is about understanding who you are, what you stand for, and what you bring to the table. Many people look for external validation to feel confident, but true confidence comes from within. It is not about seeking approval from others, but knowing deep down that you are capable and deserving. When you recognize your own value, you stop needing constant reassurance, and you stop letting fear dictate your choices. Confidence allows you to trust yourself even when others doubt you. One of the biggest benefits of confidence is that it opens doors. People who exude confidence naturally attract more opportunities because they are willing to put themselves forward. They are not afraid to ask for what they want, to take on leadership roles, or to step outside of their comfort zones. Confidence makes people take notice. It commands attention and respect. When you believe in yourself, others begin to believe in you too. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with assurance and certainty, and that can lead to greater success in both personal and professional life. Confidence is also essential for overcoming challenges. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and failures, but a confident person does not let these things stop them. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of their worth, they see it as a lesson, an opportunity to grow and improve. They do not allow fear of failure to paralyze them because they trust that they can handle whatever comes their way. This resilience is what separates those who achieve great things from those who give up too soon. Developing confidence requires intentional effort. It is not something that appears overnight, but it is something that can be built over time. One of the most effective ways to build confidence is through preparation and practice. When you invest time in developing your skills and knowledge, you naturally feel more secure in your abilities. Confidence grows when you take action, step out of your comfort zone, and prove to yourself that you are capable. Every small success adds to your belief in yourself, and over time that belief becomes unshakable. Another key factor in confidence is self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a direct impact on how you feel and how you carry yourself. Negative self-talk creates doubt and insecurity, while positive self-talk reinforces your abilities and potential. Confidence is built when you choose to speak to yourself with encouragement rather than criticism. When you focus on your strengths rather than your weaknesses, you develop a mindset that supports your growth instead of holding you back. Confident people also set boundaries and refuse to settle for less than they deserve. They do not tolerate disrespect, mistreatment, or situations that undermine their worth. They understand that confidence is not just about how they feel, but also about how they allow themselves to be treated. When you respect yourself, others are more likely to respect you as well. Confidence transforms the way you navigate life. It gives you the courage to take risks, to express yourself fully, and to go after what you truly want. It is the key that unlocks potential, opens opportunities, and allows you to create the life you desire. No matter where you are in life, confidence is something that can be built, strengthened, and maintained. The more you believe in yourself, the more unstoppable you become. Many people are taught from a young age that being nice is the key to being accepted, loved, and valued. They are encouraged to always be agreeable, to avoid conflict, and to put the needs of others before their own. While kindness is a virtue, being overly nice can sometimes lead to being overlooked, unheard, and undervalued. The world does not reward people for simply being nice. It rewards those who are strong, confident, and willing to stand up for themselves. A strong woman understands that she does not have to sacrifice her kindness, but she also refuses to let it be mistaken for weakness. Nice girls often struggle with setting boundaries. They say yes when they want to say no, they tolerate disrespect to avoid confrontation, and they put themselves last in the name of keeping the peace. Over time, this behavior leads to frustration, exhaustion, and a loss of self-worth. People begin to take them for granted, assuming they will always be there, always be accommodating, and always put others first. But strength is not about being available to everyone at all times. It is about knowing your value and refusing to be treated as less than you deserve. A strong woman does not wait for permission to take up space. She knows that her opinions matter, her voice deserves to be heard, and her presence carries weight. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable, nor does she allow fear of judgment to silence her. She understands that not everyone will like her, and she accepts that because her goal is not to be liked, it is to be respected. Respect is earned through action, through confidence, and through the ability to stand firm in who you are, even when others disagree. Nice girls are often taught that being liked is the most important thing, but strong women know that making an impact is far more valuable. While a nice girl may hesitate to assert herself in the workplace, a strong woman makes sure she is seen and heard. She takes risks, speaks with authority, and does not downplay her achievements to avoid making others uncomfortable. She is willing to go after leadership positions, negotiate her worth, and challenge the status quo when necessary. She does not allow fear of rejection or criticism to stop her from pursuing her goals. In relationships, a nice girl may accept mistreatment in the name of love. She may ignore red flags, tolerate disrespect, or lower her standards to avoid being alone. But a strong woman knows that her value does not come from how much she is willing to endure. She understands that love should never require self-sacrifice at the expense of her happiness. She walks away from people who do not treat her with respect, knowing that she deserves better. Strength is also about resilience. Life will present challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, but a strong woman does not allow these things to define her. She sees obstacles as opportunities for growth, and she refuses to let failure make her doubt her abilities. While a nice girl may wait for someone to rescue her, a strong woman takes control of her own destiny. She understands that her success, happiness, and fulfillment are in her hands, and she refuses to settle for anything less than what she is capable of achieving. The world remembers those who make an impact. People who challenge the norm, who refuse to be silent, and who stand up for what they believe in are the ones who shape history, change industries, and inspire others. A strong woman does not allow herself to fade into the background. She embraces her power, uses her voice, and refuses to let the fear of being disliked hold her back. She understands that making an impact requires courage, and she is willing to step into that power unapologetically. 2, many people go through life afraid to fully express themselves. They hesitate before speaking, second-guess their words, and constantly apologize for having an opinion. They downplay their thoughts, soften their voices, and avoid standing out because they fear judgment or rejection. But playing small does not serve anyone. Apologizing for who you are, for what you believe, or for simply existing in a space does not make you more likable, it makes you invisible. Owning your voice is about recognizing that what you have to say matters. It is about standing in your truth without fear and without unnecessary apologies. Apologizing has its place when you have made a mistake, hurt someone, or need to take responsibility for an action. But many people apologize for things that do not require an apology at all. They apologize for speaking too much, for taking up space, for having boundaries, for asking questions, for saying no. Every unnecessary apology sends a message not just to others but to yourself. That you are not worthy of taking up space, that your thoughts are not valuable, that your presence is a burden. But the truth is, you do not need permission to exist. You do not need permission to speak. You do not need to justify your presence in any room, conversation, or opportunity. Owning your voice requires confidence, but confidence is not something you are simply born with. It is something you develop. It starts with recognizing that your thoughts, ideas, and opinions are just as valid as anyone else's. Many people stay silent because they fear saying the wrong thing, but silence does not protect you. It only robs you of the opportunity to be heard. Growth comes from being willing to speak up, even when your voice shakes, even when you are unsure. Every time you choose to express yourself, you strengthen your ability to communicate with clarity and conviction. Many people, especially women, are taught to be agreeable, to be polite, to avoid confrontation at all costs. But there is a difference between being kind and being passive. Owning your voice does not mean being rude or dismissive of others. It means knowing that your words carry weight. It means refusing to let fear silence you. It means recognizing that you have wisdom, experience, and insight that can contribute to the world. The more you hesitate, the more you allow others to define your narrative, make decisions for you, and dictate your worth. One of the most powerful things you can do is remove the word sorry from places where it does not belong. Instead of saying, sorry for taking up your time, say, thank you for your time. Instead of saying, sorry if this sounds stupid, say, I have a question. These small shifts make a huge difference in how you present yourself and how others perceive you. When you stop apologizing unnecessarily, you show confidence. You show that you believe in what you are saying and that you are not afraid to be heard. Owning your voice is also about setting boundaries. It is about saying no when you need to, asking for what you deserve, and speaking up when something does not sit right with you. Too often, people stay quiet in uncomfortable situations because they do not want to be seen as difficult. But silence does not protect you. It only allows others to take advantage of you. Your voice is your power. When you use it with intention, you reclaim control over your life. No one else can tell your story the way you can. No one else can bring your perspective, your experiences, or your wisdom to the table. If you do not own your voice, someone else will try to shape your narrative for you. The world does not need more people who shrink themselves. It needs people who are willing to speak up, to take space, and to stand firm in their truth. When you stop apologizing for who you are, you step into your power.